Good evening, Dr. Vasudha and all our participants. Uh, it's immense pleasure that I wish to introduce you to all our participants out over here. Um, Dr. Vasudha Neelmani is a principal of the Rockwoods International School at Udaipur. She also has several honorary roles, like being the global head, Global Edu Leaders Forum and Learning Forward India, and several other organizations. Dr. Neelmani is a profound and illustrious educationist with over 27 years of experience spanning teaching, administration, mentoring, and advisory roles, with about 16 years in Cambridge education and 10 years of leadership role, with a double master's in psychology and education and special education being her specialization. Dr. Neelmani has worked with the Indian education system and put it on par with global standards. She has several educational certifications like the Penta Auditor's course for the British curriculum, the Cambridge certifications to name a few. She's won several awards. Notable among them are the Avantika Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Award in 2018 as one of the best principals in India. In April 2019, she was recognized as the best innovative principal. She has also been awarded with the Most Innovative Education Leadership Award in July 2020. Dr. Neelmani is also a regular speaker at Cambridge, UK, and conducts several workshops across the curriculum. She conducts sessions on mental and emotional well-being, meditation sessions, and workshops on gratitude for all ages. This session by Dr. Vasudha Neelmani on gratitude is a special offering from the Aditya Birla Education Academy on the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti. Dr. Neelmani's book, Gratitude, has just been released in August 2020 and has a preface written by Dr. Saraswat, and the forwards include General Kulkarni, Dr. Jakpreet Singh, Colonel Shekhar, Mr. Paleti, and Mr. Bhavin Shah of the education world. Dr. Neelmani, we look forward to the session from you, and we really hope that we have an interactive session wherein we can discuss gratitude and the way forward, which is so much needed in today's time. Over to you, Dr. Neelmani.
Thank you, Ms. Anuradha. Thank you, Dr. Anuradha. Thank you so much, ABA, for this wonderful opportunity. Like I always say that gratitude is something that we feel from inside. And I can see many familiar faces also here. So I will just share with those the journey of gratitude. I think I was practicing it since I was 8 years old, and I learned this beautiful virtue from my father, and we used to go on long walks, and I never saw him not in gratitude even in the hardest time also. So that was I think I inherited this from him. And I must share how this beautiful book, Gratitude, the Purpose of Life, was born, how it took place. I was actually working on some other book, and I was working on that manuscript. That was book on spirituality, which I was working on. And one of these sessions only that I took on gratitude, where I had devised a curriculum for my students to start with, because I had been, and this gratitude curriculum and my book is inspired by many people who have been working tirelessly in this field, like Louise Hay, her Heal the Inner Child, Norman Vincent Peale, Power of Subconscious Thinking, and then Rhonda Bryan Magic. So these were all something very cumbersome, and what I thought it was for adults, and there were some exercises which we thought that were not meant for students. So I wanted something that could cater to all the age groups, and how this 20 and this 21 days curriculum was born. And 21, 2 plus 1, 3. So 3 is a magical number of creativity. We say that universe also, two people, two human beings are need to create another life, or not only human being, all living forms. There are two, male and female, and the new life is born. So 3 is the magical number. And whenever we are paying gratitude, we always say we say that, say thank you 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So when I started doing with my little children, and I used to, I have been practicing for the past 3 years with my students. So I used to take this curriculum myself, and it was catering to the 3-year-old in nursery also, and to a 18-year-old college going students, or my grade 12 students also. And they were practicing it beautifully. And in one of the sessions, one of my friends, she was sitting, her daughter was sitting, and they suggested, why not we start this curriculum? Why don't you just, do it? And then I started writing chapters. I started writing all the things. It was very amateur videos that we took, and we posted on YouTube, and I shared with. So the first, when we started this curriculum for outsiders, I would say, in the month of April, when the lockdown was there at its peak. And so I can say that, of course, there are very negative sides to Corona, but for me, the beautiful book, like Gratitude, the Purpose of Life, came out. So I think it was all the power of manifestation and the gratitude that happened. And I would love to share the title of the book, Gratitude, the Purpose of Life. Is given by my 11-year-old daughter, because she was so much listening and attending the sessions with me. And I used to feel very passionately about it. So she told me, no, it is your purpose. So it should be Gratitude, the Purpose of Life. And everything fell in place. So now so as I said, that I would like to keep this session interactive, and I have kept it, it will be, so of course we won't be able to cover all the 21 days today, but I have picked up the best, what I feel is very, very necessary, because in this gratitude, it also includes, how we can be positive in extreme situations. Back. So so we had so that's what I have kept, that anger management, gratitude, positivity, manifestation. So we will stress management. So we will cover all these aspects, and I will be asking all of you some questions, some related, where we can share the experiences also. So Ms. Lata, can I please have the presentation now? So the power of positivity and gratitude. So the few quotes you will be seeing that are written by me only, with my own experiences. So next slide, please. So positivity and gratitude are intertwined, and they are two sides of the same coin, and one is meaningless without another. So if we are, it has to be. So I'll give you a situation that if we will be in gratitude, we will always be positive, and vice versa. A negative person can never be in gratitude, and a person who follows gratitude can never be negative. So you have that feeling of inner contentment all the time. So I remember somebody, I have been part of few WhatsApp groups where we talk about positivity and things like that. So somebody sent me a message and a question that what takes us to be happy? How can I be happy? What should I do? What activities should we do? So, and what should I do that I remain happy all the time? So my answer to that person was very, very simple, according to my: live in the present and accept life as it comes with a smile. Because whatever happens, we don't know. We might be upset. We might feel why this has happened to me. To be honest, when something bad happens with us, of course, this is life and it has a lot of challenges that we say. So we always say, oh God, why this has happened to me? We come and in that victim mode, why me all the time? But when some good things are happening to me, do we say why me? Why God has chosen to be, everything is falling according to I am thinking. So then we are not cribbing. So that's one thing that if you may want to note it down also, or you may, that always live in the present and be content in all the situation. Believe me, everything falls into place. Tough times last, tough times don't last, tough people do. So that's my mantra, and I am very sure that when we open the Pandora box and when we are talking amongst each other, we come to know that we all are facing some challenge or the other, and we feel that our challenge is the one which we are facing is the maximum one. I mean, nobody can beat us. We are suffering or we are having these challenges, but we don't. Now I come to the very, very important point. Next slide, Ms. Lata. So what happens is that being positive means a lot. So whatever we are telling, now imagine if we are all adults and we are all at our workplace. So if our bosses appreciate us all the time, so we have that sense of belongingness. We will be wanting to do much more and we want to prove ourselves. But if we are in a situation or a workplace, that is, of course, every workplace is demanding, I can understand. But if we are in a workplace, where we are always being cornered, or we are always being picked upon, we are being said, you have not done this thing right, we have not done that thing right. So what happens is that we get into our own shells, and we think, oh, forget it, it's not worth it, let me look for. So we start looking for our dream job. So but actually, to be honest, we can create our dream jobs where we are. So this is the thing we are talking about adults. Now imagine little ones. So whatever we are saying negative or positive to them, it stays in their mind forever, and they will say that whenever the same, I remember this is something I learned from my father, because he never used to say that if I was little stubborn also. We used to say, no, my daughter, comes to a decision little late, but it is in her favor. So he never used to say that she's stubborn or she's not listening to me. And then when I used to ask him that, why did you say that I was not listening to you? So you could have said that. He said, no, because whatever we say to our children, they take it inside and they feel, oh, there is something very good. Like as parents, most of the time, we do a mistake when we say, oh, our little child, 3-year-old, he's very stubborn, he's very aggressive, and he gets angry, he's very hot-tempered. And that little 3-year-old child say, oh, this is something, it is talked about, so I have to carry on with this habit for a long time. So it is best that we speak positive, we are appreciative of and acknowledge the positive traits of everybody. Next slide, please. Okay, now I would now like to have some hands or video on. Lata can help me out with this. Why do you think I have shared that gratitude is a feeling, and saying thank you does not mean you are grateful. It has to be felt from inside. So let's do a quick exercise, everybody, and then I will ask everyone that why do we need gratitude. So the quick exercise is, let's all take a deep breath in. Just take one deep breath in. Just take a deep breath in, and I will ask you not to breathe out. Okay, now you can breathe out. So may I ask the participants that what will happen if we have taken the breath in and it has just stuck inside and we are not able to breathe out. So anyone please, you can have your videos, audios on and share.
Anybody who wants to speak, just raise your hand and we'll unmute you from here and you'll be able to talk then.
Puneet, you want to speak? You can. Yes, Dr. Raghav. You'll have to unmute first. You can unmute Puneet and then Dr. Raghav.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. If we breathe in and we are not, definitely we are going to choke, and life will, it will be like life is going to end at that very particular moment. Obviously.
Thank you, Puneet. Thank you. Dr. Raghav, aapne kiya tha. Your turn.
Yes, madam. Good evening. Good evening, Anuradha madam. Good evening, Vasudha madam.
Good evening. Good evening, Ji.
No, it's very good to answer the question which I had answered before. Yes, we will choke and life would not be found inside the body. We would be lifeless. That would be the situation.
Yes. So, thank you. So the next question is, have we ever thought of paying gratitude to the air we breathe in? No, we haven't, because we take it so much for granted that, okay, we are alive, we are breathing, so it is part of it. So this attitude of gratitude is going to teach us from the micro level things to the macro level things. So micro level is, counting your blessings every day, or something related to as simple as that we are a complete human being with all our 10 fingers, 2 hands, eyes at the place, hands at the place, feet at the place, but we never thought of paying gratitude to being a complete human being. We are not, we don't feel like paying gratitude to our parents, because we feel, are paida kiya hai, so they have to take care of us. It's their duty to take care of us. And this is a very, very common thing that, we have done to our parents, for sure. Our children are doing it to us. And when our children are doing it to us, of course, we feel very bad about it, because when we tell, oh, what special you are doing, you have to educate me, it is your duty to educate me. So but we don't go, or if mother is cooking something, oh, mom ki to it's her duty to cook and feed the family, so big deal, they are she's not doing something great. So now with the show of hands and raise of hands, I would like to ask 2 people only right now, and we would request to different people all the time, that why do you think that you need gratitude? Why it is so important, with little bit. And second question is, when did you last express your gratitude to anyone? So 2 questions. So I need 4 people to raise their hands. 2 questions to 2 different people. So, or then otherwise, if nobody is raising hands, so I will request Lata to choose it. Yes. I think 2 people have raised hands, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll start with Miss Jaya.
Good evening, everyone. I feel at every point of time we need to thank for various reasons. I mean, I strongly believe in this, and I am counting my blessings every day. I mean, there are a lot of ups and downs, but I strongly believe in this, that this is extremely important for every child, every human being in this world, to count their blessings, and that really gives you a lot of positive energy, and you feel definitely better in the situation that you are in.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Who was the next person? Somebody raised the hand.
Miss Preeti.
Miss Preeti.
Good evening, everyone. Good
Yes,
evening.
good
Yes, I think the we must thank you, everyone, because giving is always positive. When we
Right.
give something to someone, it is always give a positive remark to us.
Right. Absolutely. So, and my second question is, when did we last give pay our gratitude to anything? You don't need to tell me that when to whom, but when did you last give the gratitude?
The last 5 minutes ago,
Last minute ago. Okay, great, great.
I am giving you thanks to you that you give us a wonderful session.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? Sai Krishnan, every day to God. Great, great. So now, can we have the next slide? And of course, we forget that gratitude is the key to abundance. So when we are actually, gratitude is the readiness to show appreciation, return kindness, and the beautiful thing is that, you know, it makes us compassionate, it makes us empathetic. So what happens is, we need to imbibe the same in our children. Now, be it COVID, before COVID, we all know that we all adults are grappling in stress all the time. So whether it is stress related to our work, whether it is stress related between spouses, whether it is stress related mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, home issues, work issues. So we are struggling, and what we feel is sometimes we are so grappled in that situation, or in the situation, in that mad race to prove ourselves at the workplace. We run after money, we run after positions, so we don't know. And the very, very important factor is that we sometimes we lead the life given to us by others. So most of us, we don't know that what we want in life. We are at a workplace, we are doing it, we are doing morning 9 to 5 job, 9 to 6 job. We come, we do the duties, we go back. And you know, and when maybe bad day at work, and when we come back home, so our children are you know, they are susceptible to that behavior, and then they feel they actually, you know, they are taking those vibes from us, and they understand that language, that, you know, mama is little stressed or daddy is stressed, and they are not able to you know, they are not able to handle that situation well, and these level of stress then is passed on to the children also. So it is a beautiful saying that we can give what we have. So what if we are having lot of happiness, lot of peace, lot of positivity in ourselves, then only we are going to give that to our little ones also. Very, very interesting thing. Maybe, you know, you can write in the chat box only, everyone. When did you pay gratitude to your spouses? A wife paying gratitude to husband for taking care of the family, or taking care, or a husband giving gratitude to the wife for cooking food. I know I'm not some, because sometimes roles have reversed also. I trust you, so, Raghav sir, you can do that. It is for all the others also. When we have, because what happens is that we are in that moment that, you know, we are always expecting from other person. We always feel that, oh, he has to do this for me, he did not do this for me. But you know, what are we doing for our husbands? What are we doing for our wives? What are we so I will just say that a very, very typical home situation. And I can see Dr. Anuradha, you know, nodding and smiling. So so maybe she's also, you know, facing this thing. So we all, you know, females, we cook. We are very maybe fond of cooking, not fond of cooking, but that's our role, to cook the food. And how many times it has happened, we cook fabulous food and we don't get any compliment at home that, okay, you have done a decent job or food is cooked well. One day the food is spoiled, excess salt, no salt, or you know, something has burnt, and we hear everything all the time that you don't know how to cook, what has happened, you forgot to put the salt. Now keep you know, keeping that thing in mind, we feel bad. Now when we are okay sir, you're bachelor, so maybe, you know, your mother must be cooking for you, somebody else must be cooking for you. So we are coming to that point. So we need to appreciate whatever the other person. Now gratitude exercises such, it will start with the micro level first. Micro level means that our immediate family members, our immediate friends, our workplace, and then it expands later on, and which I will be sharing in a while. Next slide, Lata. Okay, now being positive at all times and in all situations. So this is a truth, and what our thoughts, our actions become reality. So there is and I would like to have some anecdotes or some things, some incidents from you, one or two incidents. So you know what happens is that it is scientific. We are having a very good day, we are very happy, and we have sent those happy vibes at the universe at the top level. And what happens is, within 5-10 minutes, we got into a tiff with maybe family, maybe boss, anybody else, and we just, our morale goes down and we just become very, very negative at that point in time. So now what happens when we have become that negative in that point in time? The universe catches that vibe very quickly. So when it was sending us the positive, happy vibes and happy feelings, he caught our vibes. And then what happens is, after that, our 3 hours to 4 hours will be a continuous chain of events that are not so good. So we say na, that bad start of the day, when and sometimes we say that, oh God, which side of bed I got up today, everything is, you know, in the wrong, because we get into that vicious cycle of getting everything wrong. Trust me, when what we want in the morning, or whatever, if something has happened, some incident has happened, so there are 10 different incidents which has happened in a day, maybe 2 are good, 8 are bad. Concentrate on those 2 good incidents, what have happened. So what will happen with that is that your peace of mind, your whole day will fall into place. Start manifesting. So start manifesting means that once you start paying the gratitude, after a few days, now according to the law of attraction, thank universe in advance, keeping your desires in mind and thinking that it has already been achieved. Now I will just share one incident with you, and I would like 1 or 2 people can share their experience if they have faced this kind of a thing. So in 2016, 15, 16, I was 16, I was about to change my job, and I wanted to have a beautiful palatial house in Gurgaon, and everybody was thinking it is impossible, how can it happen? Believe me, I actually wrote it down, and I wrote that, you know, I want to shift to this house, I want to change my job, but I did not say I want to. I had already said that, okay, thank you, universe, for I'm grateful for this wonderful house, I'm grateful for this wonderful job, and believe me, it happened. One of my students, she shared with me when I was teaching. She was in grade 1 at that time, and I was teaching her this power of manifestation and gratitude. So she had actually she wanted a beautiful teddy, which her parents had said no, and she was very sad. And I don't know, she asked me, ma'am, if I manifest, will I get that? And I don't know why I said, ha, you will get that. You just, keep on manifesting it. Believe me, after 2 weeks, she came, ma'am, some magic happened. I said, what happened? My grandparents brought the same teddy for me. So this is something, when it is about faith, it is about trust. And if some people say that, some logical headed people, it's not that I am illogical, but some logical headed people, they might say that, this is something we don't believe in. So try it. It is a scientific thing which says it is law of attraction. I will just give a gist of it, but it's there in my book. So Dr. Emoto Masaru is a very famous Japanese scientist. So with the positive attitude and words, so he conducted a very beautiful experiment where on the droplets of water, so he took few droplets of water and he started using lot of positive words with those droplets of water, and they became beautiful ice crystals. You can Google out Dr. Emoto Masaru and you will have this. So this is something scientific. And his plea was, and his thing was that, human beings' body is made up of 70% of water. So when we are talking to water and it can create miracles like that, so why can't we work on the humans in a positive manner? There was some polluted water also. That experiment was there, and it was converted into a crystal with the power of positive words and power of prayers. So that was there. So everything what we are talking about, it has been scientifically proven also. It is just that we have to get that thing in our lives. So we naturally expect positive outcomes every time we take up an initiative. Now, most of us, we believe in this, that, have your plan B ready when you are taking the initiative. According to me, that's my personal experience. Don't have your plan B ready. Because when you are having your plan B ready, you are giving that thing to the universe. Your plan A might fail. That's why you're going to have a plan B. When you are having your plan A, but believe me, it has to be combination of our 100% efforts and manifestation. So like I talk to my students, my grade 10 students who want to have who want to become the toppers. So I tease them, or I tell them that, listen, it does not mean that you will just put the manifestation that I am going to get 100% marks and you're not going to study. So you're not going to gain anything. So one or two who are the naughty ones will say, oh ma'am, okay, it has to be combination of both. I said, yes, it has to be combination of both. So when you are giving your 100% and you are manifesting also, of course it will work. So can we have the next slide? Yes, so that we have spoken, patience, positivity, and perseverance can help us face anything. Next. This also we have spoken. Negativity is state of mind. I spoke about the example of happiness. So a ship sailing in the stormy ocean will sail through all the turbulence and will sink only at the time when water gets in. So similarly, we all are surrounded by negativity all the time, and it is going to affect us if we allow it to enter our body and mind. So we get succumb to the pressure very, very fast if anything, you know, wrong happens to us. So negativity creeps in very quickly and positivity takes a lot of time. So our aim is that, you know, when we go after this session, we all this positive feeling, this positivity stays in our mind. And maybe I will just ask you to do a couple of 2-3 exercises only every day to have you get on with the life. So this you have to. So next, please. This I have discussed. Very, very important, anger. So we all get angry. Before this session only in my school also, I just lost it and I had just scolded someone. So I'm also a human being. So anger is fine. But why? Okay. Now, before we go on to the anger management, my question to the people here is, why do we get angry? Why do you get angry? And any one of you, why do you get angry? Yes, Manjubala Sharma ji, why you can speak.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Ma'am, mostly I get angry when things are not according to me, what I have, thought of that it should be like this. When I behaved in this manner, why didn't that person behave to me in the same manner? But it doesn't happen in reality. So usually we get angry, whether we show it or not. That depends on our relationship, whether the person to whom we can show our anger or not. But yes, I do angry.
Great. So anyone else? Anyone else who wants to answer this question? Can I ask Dr. Anuradha why we get angry? We have no control over our emotions. Yes, absolutely. We don't have, and most of the time okay, now 2 are done. So I will take this forward. Yes, so I have my childhood friend here attending my session. So Anu Goon, she's a poetess, and believe me that she has been friends since we were, I think, 3-year-old or 4-year-old. So she is here. Thank you to be there. So she also says, when things don't get when jaisa hum chahte hai waise expectations mismatch. Absolutely. So okay. When things are not going our way, we get angry. When our expectations are not met, we get angry. And everybody's, the expression of anger is different. Now, very, very strange, but I will share the secret with you. When I get angry, I am in tears because I don't have a habit of shouting. I cannot shout. I cannot. So, but of course, I also get angry, and because this is a kind of emotion, very, very natural emotion. So when, like, we are happy, we are sad. So I'm not saying that don't get angry, but before busting out. So there is a difference, keeping that anger to ourselves and just, take a deep breath and taking it inside. So next time, and now I will ask questions here. So there is a number 5 principle that I follow. And it has really helped me, and believe me, and I don't know, after discussions with a lot of senior people, my father, my people in my family, elderly people, so I came to that conclusion. So number 5 principle says that when we bust out, when we are angry, think in our mind that will this situation is going to impact my life after 5 minutes. Of course, 5 minutes, it may have an impact. 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years. And believe me, you will not, that situation will not be more than 5 hours. वो 5 days तक भी नहीं जाता. It does not go even to a 5 day. So, is it really worth it for losing it cool? And then what happens is we go into that repentance mode. We feel, oh, I could have handled it better. I mean, most of us are professionals here. So I would like to just, without naming anybody, I would like a couple of you who have not shared your experience to just come on the mic and share it with us, that, you know, where any one in situation, any incident where you thought that you could have handled it in a better way without busting out. So anyone, with show of your hands, please. Come on, I want this to be, you can type it out if you don't want to speak. I really want this to be interactive.
Let me go ahead on this, Dr. Sudha. I think this happens most of the time with our own children, you know. I mean, we have obviously very high expectations. Somewhere children are the people whom we have expectations. And often it happens that our expectations are not matched to what their behavior is. And that kind of leads to a complete imbalance. And that's where probably the bursting out happens. And then, you know, you realize it's probably, and you go into that repentance mode, as you said, because it's probably not good for them, it's not good for us, and not good for the family and the whole atmosphere around. So I think that's something we often tend to do as probably parents, you know. And even in as teachers in our classroom, we often do that with our own students in the classroom, but to an extent it's a little less because that's more of a professional setting in that sense.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Anuradha. Lata, you want to share something?
I think more often than not, when we feel that we're not in control, that's when the whole bursting out happens. And then later you think that, okay, I could have handled this better. So definitely, you know, the number 5 principle will come in handy there.
Yes, yes. So, yes, Jaya ma'am.
You know, I'm not. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It happens like often when I see my daughter wasting time, and it's happening, you know, even during this lockdown period when we are having an overdose of each other, I think, and I see her wasting time, and that is the time I lose my cool. I try not to, but then eventually I land up, I think, once in a week I do have a tiff, which is so I'll try this number 5. Let's see if it works for me.
Great. So let me share, where we are talking about our children. So I have a daughter, 12-year-old daughter, and I think she's 12-year-old, and I have just, you know, lost my cool on her just 4 times till now. I mean, you know, I think after she was in grade 2, I have not hit her, or I have not, you know, yelled at her or scolded her. But those 4 times also, she narrates it with the anecdotal example to everyone who comes, that no, she also, you know, hits me, or she also does that. And when I asked her, I said, when did I? Oh, you did 4 times in my lifetime. So I told her, I always tell her, you don't even know, when we were 12 years old, there were endless number of times. Wo to chalte firte, you know, we used to get one from our parents. So yes, now times have changed. So we have to be very, very careful. We have to be very, very how we are conducting ourselves in front of our children. And I'm sure most of us have shared this generation. I mean, these are millennial kids, Gen Z kids, whatever. I don't know what names, you know, this generation has. So I don't know, my daughter only keeps on explaining it to me. But they are the children who will want to know the how, why, what, why of everything. I mean, they are so logical. If we ask our children that, okay, today you're going to sit here. So why will I sit here? What have I done? Why do you want me? And I think we were of the generation, okay, if somebody has said, okay, you have to sit here. So we were sitting here. So, so that is it. Yes, Preeti ji, you want to say something? Preeti Bajaj.
Yes, ma'am. Hi.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in every situation, we must think a while, and it will give a very different result. In a present scenario, it is a need of our.
Yeah.
Before acting anything, we must first of all think, then react.
Yes, absolutely. It has to be so it's not that you know, I believe we are practicing gratitude, and Gandhiji was, it's on occasion of his birthday. So there are two three anecdotes related to Gandhiji, and one is my favorite, and I try to imbibe it and follow that. So and I'm sure most of you, most of us have heard that. It is when Gandhiji, there was a mother who brought her child to Gandhiji and tell him that please ask him to not to eat sweets. And Gandhiji, every time Gandhiji took 7 or 8 days, 10 days, and he used to say, no, you bring her tomorrow, you bring him tomorrow, you bring him tomorrow. And the last day he explained that child that, you know, you should not eat sweets, or you should not do that. And then, you know, the mother asked that, why now? Why you took 10 days? So Gandhiji said, 10 days before I was also eating sweets. So we must practice what we preach, and we must preach what we practice. So this is to all of us as teachers, as adults, as parents, as leaders, because, you know, our team, our children, we are the role models for them. So if I am saying that don't be angry, or if I am saying that don't lose your cool, and if I am losing that cool all the time, so nobody is going to take me seriously. They will say that, oh, you know, she is, you know, telling all the other people, and she is just, you know, losing it all the time. So we have to be very, very balanced in our approach, how we are dealing with the situation, and that will make us stand apart. So so next slide, please. Explain directed 5 minutes thing. Okay. From Summer. So 5 minute, okay, I will just explain this again. Whenever, or you can note it down also if you want. So whenever we are getting angry, whenever we are losing cool with ourselves, so just keep that thing in your mind, that with the situation or with the people, I am getting angry with the person. Mostly it is the situation, because person also, you will get angry with the person when the situation is not according to you, if he has not behaved in you know, according to how you want. So will that situation, will your anger have impact on your life? Will that situation have impact on your life after 5 minutes, after 5 hours, after 5 days, after 5 months, after 5 years? And believe me, no situation is do or die situation that we get angry, that we lose our cool. We can get angry, that is an emotion, I will not say, but that we burst out. You know, bursting out means shouting at anyone, hitting our child, throwing things, or, you know, banging our head against the wall, or, you know, just, you know, screaming our lungs out. So that is not required. And believe me, that at one point of time, anger leads to so many things. What to think? I didn't get you. Lata,
I think he's asking,
is
what
he
do we
trying to
think
ask?
about in the 5 minutes, 5 hours, in the 5.
What you have to think is that Right. So when you are bursting out, when you're getting angry, will it lead to something, some positive thing, some constructive thing in by losing it? When you are angry, or suppose, okay, let me give you a situation that your maid has broken a glass at home, and we are just, it is a very small example, and we shout at her, you tum nuksan kar deti ho, you have just, you know, broken this, and I'm going to, you know, cut your salary, I'm going to do that. So we have, on a breaking of a glass, we have lost our cool. So this losing the cool, our busting out the emotion, is it going to, this glass, breaking of this glass, is this situation going to have an impact in our lives in the next 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5, or taking, most of us have shared that when we shout at our child, so so will he listen to us after we are just shouting at our children again and again? So that 5 impact. So here impact will be, the child might not take us seriously after a while, because he feels that, you know, maybe that child might be our own children or our students also. They might feel, oh, ma'am is always, you know, angry on me, or the teacher, I mean the children think that mama is always angry on me, so why should I listen to her? Oh, unka to aadat hi hai. So just, you know, I always say that my tip to everyone is that, you know, we should take care of our anger also very, very wisely. Our anger should be such that, you know, a person should feel that, oh, if she has got angry, it must be a very big thing. So it's like that. So it should be like that. Now, a very, very important thing that we all are working people. So we all are working people. So what happens is, and we have house helps at home. So tell me one thing: do we say thank you to our house helps to take care of us? Do we, you know, our parents, our bhaiyas? Sometimes, you know, do we respect them? So people, let's try to be kind with everyone, because everyone is valiantly engaged in their own battles. So I will share one incident that happened with me. I was flying from Delhi to Udaipur. And yes, Puneet, I know you do that. So I was flying from Delhi to Udaipur, and it was a Air India flight. And unfortunately, that 3 o'clock flight was postponed to, I think, 4 o'clock. And then there was some technical glitch to 4:30, 5 o'clock. And there was one you know, crew attendant who, she was dealing with everybody, and everybody was, you know, shouting on her. Everybody was, you know, as you know, she was responsible for the flight, and she broke down. And I don't know why my heart melted, because I am like that only. So I went to her, I gave her a bottle of water that I was drinking. And then, you know, I spoke to the people around. I said, is she responsible for this technical glitch? If you want to talk, you talk to, and why are you shouting at her? She might also be, she is, does she want us to stay here? And I told them, I also have to reach my destination, but some things are out of control, some things are out of hand. So when we are just our one smile, our one thank you to these people, so anyone can, you know, they are in the public dealing, so anyone can shout at them. But do we forget, always think, you know, when the way we are behaving with others, how would we feel if we are being behaved in the same manner? If we are, suppose, you know, we are at our workplace, we are dealing with a parent, we are dealing with somebody. If that person, you know, just vents out his anger on us, or vents out his emotions, not so how would we feel? So at the same way, so, you know, saying thank you to our workers, cleaners, people at work, people at public dealing, And very, very important thing, this I will just leave you with the thought, and I would, want you to just, you may write it, and maybe you can share it with ABA team, so that, we might come to know that there are certain, I call them, in my book, I have, that chapter is dedicated to them, which says, thanking our guiding angels who are not part of our family. So now what happens is that we have been, might be at many situation, at many point in life, we are at crossroads in our lives, and we don't know what to do, where to go. And then someone, comes in our lives who is not part of our family, whom we might not be talking a lot, but that person, he can be our boss, he can be our colleague, he can be, some random outsider also. He guides us to the thing. The cost of books, it is available on Amazon, so I think it is 199. So when what happens is that when we are at that crossroads, so many times, when we look back now, so we feel that if that person was not there, we would not have been here. Now, again, I will give my example so that it will be very easy for you to practice that. So I was, it is I think 2008, 2009. So I was working with, I started working in 1993. So that's how it is 27 years now. So that was my best job. I was with Pathways Aravali. Everybody knows Pathways World School. And I was very happy and very content there. And I thought that, and I was the middle school coordinator, and I thought that, okay, I will retire from here. And then I got an opportunity to be a vice principal of a in Faridabad. That was also a Cambridge affiliated school. And since my daughter was very, very small, I had experienced motherhood after 11, 12 years. So I didn't want to compromise because my daughter was very, very happy. I still remember Mrs. Paramjeet Narang, who was my immediate boss. And I went to her and I told her, ma'am, I'm really confused. You won't believe, she made me sit in her office. She called for a whiteboard, and she made a graph stating me that, you are being complacent, you are not doing justice to yourself, your caliber is, somewhere you are at a 50% of your caliber, and you will get in complacency. No, you must go, everything falls in place, changes. And I think, and if she would not have done that to me, I would not have been here today. I would have still be maybe now a deputy principal of a wing or something, but I would have been happily staying there at Pathways only. So, and we still talk about it. I'm still in very good terms with all the people at Pathways. So there are many people, when we look back now, this book, if I give example of this book, if the chairman of Gel Forum was saying he would not have been there, I don't think this book would have been, because he said, okay, you write, we will have it sorted. My friend and her daughter, no, you have to do it. So, and nobody could have thought that, a book can be written in the, of course, thought was here, everything was there, but this was it was done in 2-3 months time. I think that was the most beautiful thing that happened to me in COVID days when we were locked down. Cannot even imagine it. And here I am, sharing my views on positivity, sharing my views on gratitude with all of you. And my mantra, or my dream is to spread this positivity so we can create compassionate individuals. Because if we are compassionate, if we are in gratitude, if we are positive, we are going to pass on that same to our children, whether those are our students, whether for me, somebody as young as Lata also, they are like, in their 20s, 30s, they are children Yes. So this we have done. So what I would request all of you to, there is some error. Okay, so that's fine. I can. So what I would request you is that when we are, okay, thank you, Lata. So the Holy Scriptures also says that we are towards the last leg of our presentation. So whosoever has gratitude will be given more in the future, or he or she will have an abundance. So expressing gratitude, I have already spoken about it, in advance for receiving what is desired is the very nature of prayer in every culture. According to the law of attraction, we must fondly visualize what we desire, visualize that you have already received it, and just start making either mental notes or a diary or a paper pen. And you know what happens when you will be paying gratitude for the things that you already have, you will have the things that you want to achieve automatically, without any doubt about it. And so it will be you will be magically fulfilling your desires, and that will happen for sure. So next slide, please. So now we come, I would take you just to the curriculum of gratitude in a gist. I will not be able to share much about it, but yes, all of you who are here, so I would request you to do just two practices. One is, and these are my practices of first 2 days only. So one practice is, like most of you said, that counting your blessings. So just start counting your blessings from, you know, I am being grateful, and those can be materialistic things, and some things that you want. So from it can start to micro level and go to macro level. So it can start from, you know, you are grateful for having wonderful parents, wonderful spouses, wonderful children, or you are grateful to have living in a beautiful house, you are grateful to have being positive all the times. So anything that comes to your mind, to be having being a complete human being, as I said, or being able to have food and water. So when we are talking about the food, there is one of the chapter that is dedicated on the food. So when we talk about the food, it is that we never think that what is the source of the food, from the farmers to the processors, to the distributors, to the retailers, to the shopkeeper, to, you know, how it comes to us. So, you know, having that chain in our mind, and, you know, paying gratitude to that. So so I have given that example in the book, that when we all eat sugar with so much, you know, we all, most of us, you know, who are not diabetic, who would love sugar, but we don't really go behind that, you know, how sugar is made. So I was for a year I was in Yamuna Nagar, and just behind my college, we used to have this sugar cane factory where sugar was processed, and it used to stink, because that bagasse, it used to stink. We could not even, you know, breathe properly, but there were workers, you know, who used to work there throughout. And then the other very, very important part is that, you know, whenever you are cribbing about a certain situation, because of this lockdown only. So now when I also sometimes, you know, I feel, oh, you know, lockdown is there, we are not able to do this, or economy is down, financial, there is a lot of things that are happening. but at least we can say that, you know, we are blessed that we are with our families. We are blessed that we are able to spend more time with our children. We are blessed that we have been personally able to hone the skills. Everybody is fit and fine in our family, because, you know, right now, touch wood, when I hear so many COVID cases, so in the morning, you know, I say, you know, thank you God that, you know, we are healthy, we are fine. These are small things that, you know, we need to be grateful for. And then when you go through the book, it is, you know, you are taught to pay gratitude for the air also, you are taught to pay gratitude for the global health also, and so everything. So you know, why temples were, there's a very interesting analogy behind it. When so there were temples outside when in earlier times, and people used to go to the temple and pray to the Almighty. So, or whether it was for water, बहुत यज्ञ होते थे बारिश के लिए, they used to do a lot of things. So that was, so our ancestors, yeah, or our scriptures, and any scriptures, I'm not saying the only the Indian Hinduism scripture, every scripture talks about being grateful, every scripture talks about gratitude, every scripture talks about being contented all the time. Can I have the next slide, please? So these are the points, these are some of the things that are covered in the 21 days of self-transformation. So as I said, I request you to just write your 10 blessings every day. And positivity marble. So now positivity marble, nothing, just pick your favorite any stone, any marble, any color that you feel that it is beautiful in texture in your hand, and doing this. And just before sleeping, just think of the best moment of your day before you sleep, and then you sleep. Trust me, when you are doing this exercise, you will feel a lot of changes in yourself. And if we are, and I hope that we are able to live in that bliss of positivity and gratitude all the time. And now I would request anyone to share any experience with us related to anything what we have discussed today, or about anything, please. Lata, you are there?
Yes, ma'am. If whoever wants to speak can just raise their hands, we'll unmute you.
Any questions? We would be happy to answer.
Ma'am, actually, we have a couple of participants on Facebook who have asked a question. So
right.
The questions are related to the number 5 rule. They're asking if the number 5 rule can be used in the classroom with children as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Why not?
Okay, and can the number 5 rule also be taught to children, because they are also, anger is an emotion, they're also prone to anger.
Yes, it can be, of course, it can be taught to students. And that's why, you know, I told you that this number 5 rule we have been teaching to the students also. It will be great, you know. So this gratitude book or this gratitude curriculum is very handy for a 4-year-old to a 80-year-old. So it's like that.
All right. We have a comment from Facebook also, ma'am, for you, that says that thank you so much for this session, because in a time when everything is so negative, you know, gratitude will help us build more positivity around us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really grateful to ABA team for this opportunity, and my regards to Pradipto sir, he's not here, and of course Dr. Anuradha, and to you Lata, because you have been coordinating with me.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I was about to say the same comment in terms of in the time that there is so much negativity. I think this session was such a wonderful session talking about gratitude and being positive all the time. I was about to say that, yes.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, we can see Mr. Pradipto here, so he missed the session, but yes, you want to say something, sir?
So you're on
please.
mute.
Yeah. Unmute yourself, Pradipto, sir.
Mute.
Well, I'm so sorry. I had meetings, so I could
No
not
problem.
join your session.
No
But
problem.
I will be getting the recorded version of it, and I'll surely make it a point to hear that.
Thank you, thank you.
So I think there are a couple of takeaways. I would just sum up Dr. Vasudha's session in terms of what is the key takeaways. We all spoke about gratitude, and I think the one thing that stuck with me when she initially mentioned is her learning from her father was gratitude during the hardest time. And it's very difficult to stay positive when you are really, you know, having difficulties and difficult situations. So that's so very important and so well said. Always live in the present. That's something very important. If we keep thinking about the next day and what's going to happen, positivity is never ever going to come in. The principle of 5, I think, is the biggest takeaway for each one of us over here. And I think there were questions relating to that. And be grateful to everyone. So on this note, thank you to everyone for being here for this wonderful session by Dr. Vasudha Neelamani. Thank you, Dr. Vasudha, for
Thank you so
enlightening us with your thoughts, the wonderful anecdotes, and we look forward to reading your book.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.